In 2017, when TVS created the RR310, it was a pretty big event, but it had some vibration issues. But by 2019, it had a super clutch. 2020, BS6, the amazing Road 5s, TFT, riding modes. This became a truly good motorcycle. And now here today, we have the 2021 RR310. Welcome to Power Drift. Thank you so much for subscribing. Do hit the bell notification icon if you haven't. And I'm sorry to start the story on this note, but that engine is exactly the same as before. So right by wire, 34 bhp, single cylinder, nothing has changed apart from some minor tweaks to the torque curve. That engine goes into, well, yeah, the same frame as before too. So the trellis frame, nothing has changed on that front either. So why are we at the racetrack and what is this story about? Well, there are a couple of crucial changes on this motorcycle because TVS have a new program they call Build to Order or BTO, and this is a completely BTO'd RR310. So the BTO has two components, the race kit and the dynamics kit, and let's talk about the race kit first. It's both cheaper and I think a lot more people will find the benefit more easily than the dynamics kit. When you opt for it, you pay roughly 5,000 rupees. There's an asterisk on that and I'll explain that later. But essentially you get these clip-ons, they've been turned inward a little bit and they're closer to you just a little bit, and it makes it a little bit more sporty in terms of how you sit. We tried it at the racetrack today. It certainly feels a lot more like a sports bike than the actual stock RR310, which is a little bit more upright. And then there are, of course, these foot pegs. They are higher, they are closer, they are knurled, and the idea is it increases cornering clearance, which this exhaust also helps you do. So if you've ever gone up a mountain road and thought that this motorcycle scraped a little bit too easily, the race kit will sort you out. Who should opt for the race kit? Well, if you're going touring on the RR310, and I know many of you do, don't worry about the race kit at all. I don't think it'll add any significant value. But if you do go to a racetrack, ride the mountain roads with your friends, and you just want it to look more like a sports bike even when you're riding around the city, this will actually sort you out. And remember, the clip-ons have a pro and a con. It does put you in a better riding position for sporty riding, but obviously it puts more pressure on your wrist. So unless you're willing to be in a sporty tuck all the time and that's your thing, this will be a little bit more painful than usual. And now let's go to the really juicy part, the dynamics kit. Half of it is in here, that's this shock here, and the rest of it is up here. So what you can now order for your RR310 is a set of fully adjustable front shocks and a rebound and preload adjustable rear shock. They're made by Kayaba, and even if you don't change the setting that they come with, the stock setting that they come with, the experience of the motorcycle is immediately better in terms of both ride quality and handling. But the beauty of this is they're adjustable. So what that means is that once you get the dynamic kit and this updated suspension, this motorcycle will automatically feel a lot more sophisticated and controlled than before. But the fun part is that that's where it begins. That's not the end of the strip, because adjustability means you can start tuning it. So let's say that you're touring on the RR310, you don't really need a hard setup. And I'll give you an example of what happened today. We got this motorcycle first thing in the morning with the stock setup as it comes with this adjustable set of forks and the rear shock. And it felt more or less like a normal 310. But when we came back, they changed the settings to a firmer setup, something that the TVS racers thought would be ideal for us. And unfortunately, that didn't work for me at all. So I had actually 4 laps where I thought the motorcycle was faster, but I was not really enjoying the experience. When I came back, the suspension guys here said maybe the problem was that I wasn't loading the contact patches enough, so I wasn't generating the kind of forces that racers generate as they go much harder into corners, they brake much harder, they accelerate much harder, and therefore this suspension didn't work for me, which means 5 minutes with a screwdriver adjusting the rebound, the compression at the front and adjusting the rebound at the back, and I had for the next session one of the most beautiful RR310s I've ever ridden at a racetrack. I could go fast when I wanted, I could brake hard, I could turn the motorcycle on a dime, I could make mid-corner corrections if I needed to. It just felt like nothing could upset the motorcycle, and that kind of stability is possible with this suspension. Possible and will happen to you, that's the issue, it's not automatic. What it means is if you're going touring, you can enjoy a much more plush, a much more supple setup. If you're out on the racetrack, you can have a much stiffer setup, but somebody's going to have to help you set it up, and that's really the challenge of adjustable suspension. If you want to do trial and error, take a screwdriver. I think the TVS key also works as a screwdriver if you want. You can use a screwdriver to play with the clickers and see if you can find a better setup by trial and error. The smarter way to do it is to find somebody who knows what suspension is like and get them to help you set up this motorcycle. But once you do, I promise you, the Dynamics kit, it pays for itself. So let's talk about the price. Now the base motorcycle itself, the 2021 model, has become 5,000 rupees more than the outgoing 2020 model, and I think that's fair enough, right? Everybody's prices have gone up by at least that much. If, however, you wanted to add a race kit or a Dynamics kit, you'd pay 5,000 and 12,000 rupees respectively if you were ordering a brand new motorcycle. The process for that is you go to the TVS app or their website, go to the configurator, add this to your motorcycle, place an order, and then you can live track it all the way to the dealership and you can go collect your motorcycle. That's right. They will build this in the factory with these stickers, with the clip-ons, with the suspension if you want to, and you will be able to track it just like you do an Amazon package. Sounds rather cool, doesn't it? But the beautiful thing about this is that the suspension kit and the race kit are both backwards compatible with all RR310 so far. That means you could have a 2017 RR310, you could add the Dynamics kit or the race kit back to your motorcycle and get a completely new experience out of it. The only caveat there is that when you buy a new RR310 today, TVS doesn't have to build in the price of the original shocks, they just give you these. That's why there's 12,000 rupees. If you have an old RR310, the price is going to be higher. I don't know by how much, but remember 5 and 12. But I really like the idea that you can have a 2017 RR310 and upgrade it today, as well as the idea that I can buy a 2021 model and get it to look and feel the way I want to. Well, that's it for this story. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to leave you here because I want to go and do more laps. This is Power Drift. That's the RR310. Do hit subscribe and the bell notification icon if you haven't.